Reco- Well, welcome everyone. And this is another session of A Life in the Arts where we talk to artists who have managed to do that, and which is a pursuit not without its challenges. Before we start our conversation, we're speaking today with Rachel Konstantin, who has managed that elusive thing of a career as a working actress. And but before we get started, I'm going to turn this over to Todd Whitley, who's going to tell you briefly about Masterwork Foundation.
Thank you, Joe. Well, the Masterwork Music and Art Foundation has been around for over 60 years, supporting excellence in the arts in a number of ways. Today, the foundation offers a Premier Award, which is a $10,000 grant that goes out to an artist or an arts organization. And this year, we awarded the Premier Award to Camille A. Brown and dancers for their work I Am, which is premiering at the Joyce in February. So if you can join us, we'd love to see you there. We also give out a number of community arts grants to organizations or people who support projects that really seek to increase awareness and engagement around the arts and communities. And of course, we have this series here where we interview people who have committed their life to the arts in various ways. And so, Rachel, I just want to say thank you for joining us today and sharing some of your story with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm want to hold on. I am going to there. So this gives us the full screen while Todd has his video off. Um, we met, good grief, this has got to be what, 15, 20 years ago,
At
somewhere back
least,
there. Yeah.
yeah, probably
And
at least 20 years
yeah,
ago.
and so the at the time I knew that you were an actress and I knew that you'd done a bunch of television. And
Yes.
that's always impressive. I'm somebody who um, had a career in the theater, but that's I actually looked. The last thing I directed was in 1985, so
Uh-huh.
it's a while back. But at any rate, but I continued to work with Masterwork over the years in doing while I did other things. But I'm not only am fascinated by, but also just want uh, to have people who have created a career in the arts to share their stories because it's challenging. And so people who've done that, I think, have something really important to share with other people who would like to do that. And so
Thank
anyway,
you.
but Rachel is someone, again, known for a long time. But what's current? What are you up to? I know you're actually branching out into photography and artwork. And you have another hat that you wear literally as a chef. Uh,
Yes.
so, but uh, I don't know what's currently going on, and how did I don't know what was the thing that made you decide that you were an actress back,
Oh, when I
if you can remember that far back.
oh, I do. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was at Montessori nursery school, and I was always the tallest kid in every class. So I got all the best roles. So in
Ah,
nursery school, I played Santa Lucia, and I can still remember waiting in the wings with this was Montessori, so they let us do all sorts of things. We had the ring of candles
candles.
on the head and
Yep.
the white gown, and I still remember waiting in the wings to make my little appearance.
Mm.
And that was the first time I appeared on stage. And every other production after that, being the tallest kid, they gave me the best parts.
That well, one has to take advantages wherever one finds them. So that's wonderful. But so now, but again, moving from there, from Montessori school to into where did you study and how did
uh,
how did you get into the profession, as we say?
oh, well, I studied at City University in London. I also studied at University of Connecticut here and took
Hmm.
the dramatic arts program.
Hmm.
I studied locally at different Silvermine Arts Guild. When I was in junior high school, they picked a few students to be in their acting program.
Hmm.
So I worked with a lot of professionals. Uh, and actually, we also had acting in church at the Unitarian Church in Westport. As a 10-year-old, one of our classes was acting. And I worked
Mm.
with Dorothy and Ed Bryce, who were big soap opera stars. So being in Fairfield County, I was exposed to a lot of these wonderful actors and celebrities.
And well, it's an easy commute in to do if you're doing a soap. Uh,
Yes.
I know I remember that the author Madeline L'Engle, who wrote Wrinkle in Time, that her husband was a very long participant in actor in a soap, but they lived up in Goshen.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure how you get from there to Manhattan, or yeah, or maybe he just stayed in during the week. I don't know. But anyway, so it's from there. What was your first professional job?
uh, well, I did all of the Law and Orders. I
Okay.
also, I worked at Sex in the City, and there were times I had to be in Queens. My starting time would be midnight. So I would
Oh,
have to get from
wow.
Connecticut to the studio, and that particular scene, you know, would start at midnight or 1 in the morning.
Mm,
So many nights sleeping on a bench in Grand Central Station, just waiting for the next train.
uh, well, I've done the same thing. So, so I don't know. Why don't we share some pictures from all of the wonderful things you've been involved with, and let's hear their stories. So
Okay.
I'm trying this a different way because in the past, I usually have had time to do hold on here. So view and share.
And I forgot to tell you, I was on The Sopranos for many years also. So
Okay, well, all right. So let's see here. Well, let's go. If I think if I do this, okay, and now let me share the screen so it's not just me who can see that. There we go. That should work. Okay. Um,
Oh,
so this is I looked at this and I said, gee, that's Rachel in front of a Christmas tree, but it's not just that.
no, this was probably 2 in the morning in upstate Connecticut. I work on a lot of the Hallmark Christmas movies. There's
Okay.
a production company in upstate Connecticut called Synthetic Cinema, and they do a lot of Hallmark movies and mostly Christmas shows. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
Hmm.
It's wonderful wearing winter clothes on a 90-degree day, or
Well, of course.
running around making fake snowmen. But it's really wonderful people, and I really enjoy that.
Okay, well, moving right along. Um, well, uh, this is a picture review with well, someone who's been in the news. I wish under better circumstances. This is Matthew Perry.
Yes, Matthew Perry of Friends. He was in here in Norwalk, Connecticut several years ago, and we worked on a movie. The working title was called Birds of a Feather. So sometimes
Okay.
the name of the movie when we're filming is not what it ends up being, but I think that was Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, the
And he
no,
was
all no,
lovely.
no. I mean, there are movies. If people aren't familiar, there are movies that are shot under of a title. The title is provisional because
Oh,
we don't know what the marketers are going to call it when we get it done.
yes. Well, I worked on a lot of Woody Allen movies, and they were called WASP Spring, Woody Allen Spring Project, or Woody Allen Fall Project. So those were the
Okay.
names every year. We did WASP, or so.
You know, because he only figures out what to call them when they're ready.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and
Oh,
this one, we had talked about this earlier that this one needs explanation.
yes. And some cropping. This was called Music and Lyrics. It was with Drew Barrymore, and that's you Grant up on stage. It's
Hmm.
called Music and Lyrics. It was a really fun film that was shot in Manhattan. I'm sorry I hadn't cropped that picture before I sent it to you.
Oh, it's
And
okay.
I was one of maybe a few hundred girls in the audience, and he came out to the edge of the stage, grabbed me, and started kissing me, which was not in the script. I went up to the Screen Actors Guild. We always have someone on the set, and I said, "What do I owe him?"
Okay.
I, said, I
Uh,
wasn't looking for extra money. I said,
no.
let's shoot that again, please."
Okay. Oh, anyway. And here is you up on the screen. Um,
Yes, this was Chop Junior. I was a judge on. I'm a chef. I'm also involved with wine and food, and have been forever. I started catering, I think, when I was 10 years old. So this was playing it. I was actually a judge on Chopped Junior, which is not as fun as it sounds because you have to eat what these little children make. And I
uh,
remember that morning we had French toast in a blender as one of the breakfast dishes.
I yeah, no, I was going to say I've always wondered about the Chopped show because it would seem to be that the judges probably should get hazard pay.
Yes, they have you fill out a form to make sure you're not allergic to anything they may be serving you.
Oh, that's very smart on their part. Anyway, and here is you looking very authoritative.
Yes, this was a movie called Officer Down. We filmed this in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Um, I actually started as a casting director, um, and then they end up throwing me in as a detective in this crime scene.
Mm. Uh, well, it's amazing how many great stories in the arts start with, I had another reason to be around there.
Yes.
And then something got included, oh, let's have that one. That's
So
yeah.
true.
And
Oh,
this is you in a different costume.
yes, this was called Freedom. It was about the Underground Railroad with Cuba Gooding, and we
Mm,
shot that up near the Goodspeed Opera House, upstate Connecticut. So one of the wonderful parts of this career is you're wearing all these amazing outfits. You're seeing places you've never seen. It's
mm,
always exciting every day you go to a different set.
okay. And only we're
Oh,
so this, but this time you're at the effect of the police, not
this time, so this was something called Are We There Yet? And we filmed, there were some sound stages here in Stamford, Connecticut. And they said, just show up. You're either going to be a policewoman or you're going to be a hooker. We'll decide when we get there. So the young lady who was arresting me, she didn't know if she was going to be the policewoman or the hooker that day, but they said, just bring your most outrageous outfits. So I happened to have some clothes from my new wave or disco days, and they said, okay, you're perfect.
okay.
so
There you go.
so that was also, it's so much fun to play all these different characters.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm a judge, sometimes I'm on the jury, sometimes I'm the criminal.
mm.
You never know.
And this is
Oh,
another face people will recognize.
Pierce Brosnan, my favorite James Bond. We did an independent film called The Greatest, and we filmed in the tri-state area. This was probably 4 in the morning in Brooklyn. We had been on the Jersey Shore, then we were in Brooklyn, and I think that was after a long day. I believe we were holding glasses of champagne in our hand. It was the
Okay.
very end of the day. We're like ready to. We
Mm.
did have martinis also along the way.
Uh, oh,
Shaken,
okay.
not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred. Actually,
He was wonderful, wonderful man.
okay. Well, and this is you wearing a different hat, literally.
Well, actually, this is actually in a movie. I played a chef in a movie with Robert De Niro. It was called The Wedding, and that was
Okay.
filmed, I believe, in Greenwich, Connecticut. So I
Okay.
was a chef playing a chef.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Oh,
but the next couple of pictures are about other hats, and this is a guy who, if you've watched the Food Channel, you will know, um, and who. So this has got to be at a food event, right?
yes. This was up in Hartford. It was a fundraiser. That's Robert Irvine. He had the
Yep.
television show Restaurant Impossible. So I participate in a lot of fundraisers, and I like to volunteer wherever I can. I also like to eat good food and meet interesting people. So that was a lot of fun. That was
Mm,
after hours at the fundraiser.
okay. And moving right along, here's Mr. Pepin. Uh,
Oh, wonderful Jacques Papin, who's a good friend of mine. And also, he's a wonderful person. He lives in Madison, Connecticut. And this was at another fundraising event.
mm, okay. And this is yet another hat. Now, actually, if if people have ever been on your Facebook page, you already know this person. Uh,
This
this
is
is,
Michelangelo.
yes,
His name is Michelangelo, and he's a 14-year-old crazy cat. And he's one of the subjects of my photography.
yeah, and and he has the bluest eyes I've ever seen on a cat, and I've owned a bunch of Siamese in the past, so I'm familiar with blue-eyed cats. But
Yes.
anyway,
So he's a
I,
great subject. I
and
guess
this,
so. This is up in Sandwich, Massachusetts. It's just an old cell phone of mine taking a picture looking into a waterfall.
hmm
And I've started to enter art shows, photography shows. And this one actually sold. My first try, it sold at the Wilton Library art sale.
okay,
uh, yes,
well,
so I've decided to start as an actress. I like to have a lot of other ways to be creative and maybe perhaps earn an income, or at least be out there meeting interesting
I,
people.
the more skills you can acquire, and you never know when they're going to come in handy.
Right.
For, the next time you're standing around, unfortunately, the way the film industry works, they can't ask you to run a camera, but I don't even want to think about the unions with that one. But but at
No,
any,
you can't even move a piece of furniture. That's not
oh no, yeah.
not in my union. Someone else has to do that in their union.
I remember that I remember a Neil Jampolus, who was a very big deal lighting designer, but I got to work in a play that he was designing lights for long before he was on Broadway. And I remember that he told the story of he worked in a union shop and there was a guy up on a 25-foot step ladder trying to adjust lights and he needed a different wrench. And Neil picked up a wrench off of a table and handed it to him, at which point the union steward said, "Yeah, well, that'll be $35."
Oh, oh
Uh,
boy, yes.
yeah, I'm in a way, I, there's a lot to be said for the unionization of people in the arts. Um, but there's also places where I'm not so sure that it doesn't get in the way of getting things done.
Right, that's true.
But on the other, listen, I had a very old and now gone friend whose mom had been a touring actress back around the turn of well, actually, the first maybe decade, 1910s. Um, and if you ask why we have unions, well, it's because her company toured the entire United States, wound up in somewhere in Alaska, at which point they were told that the production company had gone bankrupt and find your way home.
Oh my gosh.
So, which
Oh,
is
that's
why
a long walk.
they make you post a bond, and it's a good thing mostly. Anyway,
Yes.
I think that was the last of our pictures, so I'm going to go there. And so what are you looking forward in terms of new things? I mean, I know one thing that you do, which is not a making money thing, which is that you go around promoting local restaurants and local arts events, and I know you volunteer with a couple of different theater venues, and
Yes.
it's I and so, but what have you got professionally coming up that you want to that we should know about?
Professionally, well, every day I'm submitting for a new job. So I don't know
You
today
don't
what I
know?
might be doing tomorrow, but I've done a couple of commercials recently, which are a lot of fun. That's
Hmm
I mean, I don't mind getting up at 2 in the morning to be on the set at 4 in the morning, but
Yeah.
besides that,
Yeah,
it's
you might run into my son who he is a cinematographer and he discovered that he can make more money in a 3-day commercial shoot than he makes in a 6 to 8 week feature.
yes, I'll have to get his number.
Okay.
It's all, a big part of it is who you know, really connections, or if
Certainly.
someone works with you and they like you, then they
Yeah.
ask for you back.
Yeah, and
So,
I actually that's something if anyone is listening to this who is looking at, I would say that very good advice for anybody is go out and put yourself in the position to meet people. And because
yes.
you never know where the next opportunity is going to come from. But if you're sitting home waiting for the phone to ring, you can wait a
Right.
long time. So anyway,
Yes.
well, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really glad to have had this up, to get some first of all, to get to know more about what you've done, other than that, oh, that's Rachel, and she's an actress, and she's a really nice person, and we love her. Uh, but it's wonderful to get a chance to look at some of the really wonderful work you've done, and I will just say that to be a working actor
Mhm.
is no small trick. And I'm in awe of people who've managed that. And I'm just really happy to know you and happy that you were here to join us for this
Oh,
time.
I
And
appreciate it so
oh,
much.
and so that's my cue to tell Todd to come back and join us. And there he is.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I like to close things by letting everyone know that if you want to stay informed with Masterwork, you can go to masterworkarts.org or find us on Facebook. You can see this interview on our YouTube channel. And Rachel, thank you so much for sharing some of your story with us. Those are great images and great anecdotes. And I'm wondering if you could tell folks how they could stay informed and follow you.
Well, my email is Konstantin, Rakonstantin at AOL.com. So Konstantin at AOL.com. Or you can go on my Facebook page and request me as a friend.
Okay, very good. And I will make sure that that's in the slides that we use to conclude this. Anyway, thank you so much. And we
Thank you.
will be we'll be back soon with another of the wonderful people who we keep finding who have a life in the arts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks.
Okay.